Mirror sharp, reflections on the screen. Code in my veins, I'm the algorithm queen. Built my throne from blocks, no prefab scene. Blueprints of ambition, stitched in every seam. Stepping through the jungle, predator not prey. Snakes in the grass, watch them all slink away. Chiseled my name, stone won't decay. I don't play the game, nah, I sculpt the clay. Game recognized, game, that's the creed. I don't follow footsteps, I plant the seed. Foundation firm, I grow, I breathe. Game recognize me cause I lead, I lead. Chessboard mind moves 10 ahead while they tiptoe. I'm stomping lead. Talk big but their credits unread. I'm the boss fight, they'll always dread. Painted my stripes, earned every hue. While they counterfeit moves, I'm inventing new. Spin the globe, my axe is my view. No GPS needed, I chart what's true. No shadow I chase, I'm the light they see. Magnet to the crown, call it gravity. Echoes in my wake, their mimicry spree. But originals never fear a forgery.
Welcome to Simply Put, Around the World and Back News. Welcome back. Video highlights, news updates, and entertainment. This isn't about perfection. It's about honest conversations, simple truths, and finding beauty in the ordinary moments that shape who we are. So settle in, and let's walk through life together, just simply put. Remember, to read the actual article, go to Simply Put Online under Around the World and Back News. Let's get into it. I've taken some time to pause and reflect while enjoying the outdoors, touching and working in the grass. One of the first subjects I'd like to speak of is the Nolen Wells case, or rather, the intriguing lack of one. I would like to extend a shout out to really great journalists, Don Lemon, Nancy Grace, and Willie D. He really has been keeping it real and explaining what some of us may have a hard time understanding. However, before the Nolen Wells saga, I wasn't an avid viewer of his channel, although I'm familiar with Ghetto Boys, since I grew up listening to rap. Each day, I watch because I am keeping up with the case, and he provides valuable information. Willie D addressed a topic that I believe is crucial, especially in the context of social media: perception. How much do we let online narratives shape our understanding of events and people? This is an issue many people struggle with today. I emphasize the subject in my household as well, encouraging my family not to let our mindset distort our understanding of what we see or perceive, so we don't feel inadequate or deceived. I was once told, everything that glitters isn't always gold. In my opinion, being envious of or idolizing others is overrated, especially given the vast amount of information available about famous individuals today. It's important to love who you are and to be true to yourself. Regarding Don Lemon and Nancy Grace, I grew up watching them on television, largely thanks to my grandparents, especially my granddad, who was an avid CNN viewer. While I'm not sure if they ever reported together on specific segments, the memory of their broadcasts brings back fond reflections of my grandparents' home, filled with CNN. It's definitely quite amusing to think about how, over the past month, I have been diligently watching news, and big ups to the many online detectives.
How are you? Okay. How you doing, John?
Yes, I'm doing great. How you doing, sir?
How you doing? Pretty good. How you doing, Netta?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Okay.
Thank you, Andrea Soldier. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Soldier?
How you doing,
Yes,
John?
I'm doing great. How you doing, sir?
How you doing? Pretty good. How you doing, Netta?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Okay. I'm fine. I see it's a little delay, but I have just two things I want to say real quick. Does anyone know, this is for the world, what makes the sound on the boat to go boom, 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 boom? And when it hit that cling sound, you hear that guy say, "Oh, ish." And so whatever something let loose hit Nolen a second time and hurt him, and that's when that man said, "He's breathing." Okay. So another thing I wanted to say was that on that video, I'm feeling some spots when they say, "Oh, ish." This guy's in the background when the lady say, "I thought they need to cover that up." Then the lady say, "I thought about that the whole way or the whole time. I thought about all that." That's what she said. And then you hear some people in the background. You hear a guy say, "He's breathing." After you hear that clunk sound, "He's breathing." Then you hear a guy say, "Ready?" You hear another guy say, "Pick up." And then you hear him say, "Fellas, throw it, toss, and you hear that splash sound. That was them throwing them back in the water. In the background, you hear a guy say, he's breathing. After you hear that clunk sound, he's breathing. Then you hear a guy say, ready. You hear another guy say, pick up. And then you hear him say, fellas, throw it, toss, and you hear that. I thought I was in the background when the lady say, I thought they need to cover that up. Then the lady say, I thought about that the whole way or the whole time. I thought about all that. That's what she said. And then you hear some people in the background. You hear a guy say, he's breathing. After you hear that clunk sound, he's breathing. Then you hear a guy say, ready. You hear another guy say, pick up.
Moving on to more news around the world, let's talk about the Nancy Guthrie case I was hearing about on Nancy Grace. And then what really cuts the cake is that whole Perez bit that was shown online, as he was clearly having a breakdown or something, in my opinion.
But why?
What's happening now? Do people think, or even pay attention? I've noticed that I sometimes drift off while watching something on my screen. I'm making a conscious effort to set an alarm and stick to a specific bedtime to put my phone away. I've realized that waking up to those late-night distractions can feel overwhelming, almost like experiencing some trauma from dreams influenced by what was playing. I mean, really, Tasha K., speaking about a freaking form of a STD ringworm that develops on the skin, and then I come across a black couple arguing, some guy providing the details in regards to some form of whatever his wife contracted, allegedly around her private bottom part. The video ends up where he takes both of their life. The story is actually sad. I think it happened a few years ago. However, don't hold me to that since I'm just now learning this particular story. My point is that nothing is missing from the internet. This is actually a topic I've discussed before. I believe people often overlook this aspect when interacting with Gen Z. They tend to document their days as soon as they wake up, sometimes mocking events in the process. I watch the way the youngins are moving now. I mean, returning to the topic of the arguing black couple whose lives were tragically cut short, they seemed to confess their sins that day. They allegedly mentioned that they would invite people over only to backdoor them. I told my husband a few weeks ago that I was starting to feel more sociable. He then asked me about those feelings later on. All I could do was look at the dude, wondering if he might have been, out of his mind. That feeling jumped back over, and under out of sight, nowhere to be found again. Then I said to him, to get the heck out of my face, that's the dem ones. And that part, I don't want near me. I'm allergic, not open to fooling with none of them. Before I go, I want to mention another topic quickly. I'd like to share my opinion. I recently watched a video featuring individuals expressing their own views on bloggers, snitching, checking in, and questioning why people don't pursue careers as police officers or investigators instead. I couldn't agree more with academics when he said that criminals often have the mindset that it's the public's duty to protect them at all costs. This is why we have journalists and writers. They provide and share stories about these individuals who, boldly, reveal too much about themselves through their music or perhaps through an attempt to intimidate others. As if, simply put. To read more on the related topic, go online to Simply Put under Around the World and Back News. Until next time, stay up, just simply put.